interdisciplinary in nature. It has to be collaborative. It has to be an international flavor. That is because if we understand the nature of the innovative problems at the international level, then obviously we'll be able to find out innovative solutions to those problems. And obviously, in our research and innovation loop, we keep industry there also, because the translational research that can go to that can reach the society through the industry parlance also. Now, in our pursuit for the research and innovation as our key focus, and the Sustainable Development Goals of United Nations as our guiding principle, we put research of activity of our undergraduate students. We have the Undergraduate Research Council, through which we inculcate the research atmosphere, research culture among our undergraduate students. And in the last few years, we have seen that our undergraduate students, they are performing quite well in terms of research publications, in terms of innovative solutions to problems, and in terms of say bringing glory to the institute. At the same time, in the last 2.5 years, we have almost doubled the number of PhD scholars from say around 400 2 years ago. So currently it is near about 800 number of PhD students. The idea is that is because the world is changing so fast, new and new interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary research problems are coming up. So our faculties need to work on these areas. And for their working, it is necessary that the number of PhD scholars should be there. So that is one of our objectives, and we want to increase the number of PhD students further. Now, these pursuits are after the research and the intelligence that is bringing us some dividends in terms of the ranking scenario, both at the national as well as at the international level. At the national level, among the engineering colleges, we are in the 46th position. Among all the institutes, we are in 94th position. In the innovation ranking, we are in the rank band of 11 to 25. And for the first time, we have been able to feature in the Times Higher Education World University ranking, where our position is in the 801 to 1000 category. We understand that with respect to the overall international scenario, the ranking figures are not that say something some bright kind of thing, but at the same time, we take part in the ranking scenario to assess our standing, where we stand. We try to identify our strength, our weaknesses, our look into our opportunities, and also to identify the challenges that we need to face. And so we have identified different research groups, that is, and these 4 center of excellences that we have are in the area of natural language processing, water resources, energy science and technology, and medical imaging and technology. And obviously our colleagues are working in several other areas also. And obviously we do expect that more and more center of excellences are going to come up in the near future. Now, obviously, when Professor Rahman is present with us, I do expect that in US for their MS or for their PhD studies. So they will have the opportunity to seek the blessing of Professor Rahman also, based on their competencies, so that long-term collaborations among our faculty members and Professor Rahman that take place. And at the same time, very soon, we are going to recruit new faculties at the base level. So maybe the Indian students who are working with Professor Rahman or his colleagues also will soon be sending that call to the foreign institutes across the globe, and to seek that to raise interest among the would-be faculties at NIT Silchar. Before I conclude, I just want to add that is so that might come up during this today's webinar also. That is NIT Silchar has got an 1 megawatt rooftop solar power plant, and the area being and as Professor Rahman himself knows, because he is from the nearby country, that is our neighboring country. So our own neighbor, placed in a global position. Because of the abundant sunlight in the last 1 year, so this 1 megawatt solar power plant has been able to contribute around 30% of our electricity power requirement, and we have been able to feed back to the state grid at the same time. Now the other part is that this solar, the generation from from the micro generators, these are being fed into the smart grid network that we have, so that our main power source is basically from the state grid, and added to that we have this this solar power plant also. So this smart grid situation for a smart city or a smart campus, we understand. So obviously it will be our interest to know, that is to say, how are smart villages being defined, because we have learned lot of things about smart cities, and so whether the people have to be smart, or whether simply having internet facilities to all of them will make it a smart city, and so similarly for smart villages. So we understand that the basic requirements are basically of whether it is a smart city or a smart village, are to be developed from the place itself, from their own resources. Basically, that is as much as self-reliant it can be. So with these wishes, and I expect that the future relationship or our networking with Professor Rahman will be a long-term one. I again welcome him and wish him a good morning and have a good day. Thank you, sir. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your delightful insight to the webinar topic. It's an honor for us to hear from you. Now let's start the session. Now I request Dr. Swapna Mansani ma'am to introduce the chief guest.
Thank you, sir. Very good morning to the esteemed guest speaker, and at the same time, good evening to Honorable Director, sir, NIT Silchar, respected dear faculty, it's a great honor to introduce the speaker, Professor Saifur Rahman, sir. Rahman, sir, who is going to talk on the smart city building blocks and their synergy with smart villages. Professor Saifur Rahman is the founding director of the Advanced Research Institute at Virginia Tech, USA, where he is the Joseph R. Loring Professor of Electrical and Computer Engineering. He also directs the Center for Energy and Global Environment. He is a Life Fellow of the IEEE and an IEEE Millennium Medal winner. He was the president of the IEEE Power and Energy Society for 2018 and 2019. He was the founding editor-in-chief of the IEEE Electrification magazine and the IEEE Transactions on Sustainable Energy. He has published over 150 journal papers and has made over 500 conference and invited presentations. In 2016, he served on the IEEE Board of Directors as the Vice President for Publication. He is a distinguished lecturer for the IEEE Power and Energy Society and has lectured on renewable energy, energy efficiency, smart grid, energy internet, blockchain, IoT sensor integration, etc. in over 30 countries. He is the founder of BM Controls LLC, a Virginia, USA-based software company providing building energy management solutions. He served as the chair of the US National Science Foundation Advisory Committee for International Science and Engineering from 2010 to 2013. He has conducted several energy efficiency, blockchain, and sensor integration projects for Duke Energy, Tokyo Electric Power Company, the US National Science Foundation, the US Department of Defense, the US Department of Energy, and the State of Virginia. He has a PhD in electrical engineering from Virginia Tech. I, on behalf of Department of Electrical Engineering, NIT Silchar, and my own behalf, welcome you, sir, for your valuable session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much. And now let's start the session. And thank you very much to all for gracing the inaugural session with your presence. Now let's start the session.
Thank you very much. I'm going to start sharing my screen,
Please.
and then we'll start in a few seconds. Just coming up. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I was listening to all these speeches, and I felt so good that I thought I don't need to talk anymore. I'm all done. Thank you very much for your profuse good things about me. So first of all, I want to acknowledge Professor Shivaji Bandyopadhyay, Dr. Nidul Sinha, the head of Department of Electrical Engineering, Srijit, Dulal Chandra Das, Shapnayam, and the others. Very impressive. As you said, I have been to Assam before, not to your campus, to Guwahati, and of course, India very, very often. What struck me here, I saw the director, Shivaji Bandyopadhyay, spoke about NIT Silchar campus. I am very impressed, especially with the 1 megawatt solar. I also know another Shivaji Chakraborty, NIT. He's a director of other NIT, which is in the south, Calicut. So I know two Shivajis, two directors of NIT, very impressive. And with that, let me get started. As you said very well, some of you, smart city and smart village. Director Shivaji Bandyopadhyay talked about smart village, smart city. I'll show you what I mean by this, how we can see them talking and helping each other. That is the synergy word I'm talking about. So if you want to know more about my research, at the bottom of the screen, I have my web address, srahman.org. You can go there when you want to. Also, as you know, we are now in the season of IEEE elections. Elections going on will end on October 1st, so about 10 days from now. And I'm a candidate for president. Hope we'll get support from all of you going forward. Now, what is a smart city? As an engineer, we always ask the question, if you say something to me, I say, tell me what you mean, definition. However, for a smart city, there's no one definition because it's so broad. But we have some consensus among the experts what we mean by a smart city. So agreement is a city where information and communication technology is used to improve the life, the safety, health, education of the citizens of that city. That's the basic definition of smart city. Then my definition is the smart city is an urban development vision. It's a vision. You keep on trying to get there, but you never reach because once you get there, something else comes up. So ICT and IoT, which is Internet of Things, come together to manage cities' assets. I'll give you examples in a few minutes. However, my judgment is for a city to be fully smart, it must be connected. That means not physically only, not roads and highways and all that. It has to be connected two ways. One is internet and intellectually. That means every citizen must feel that he or she has ownership in the city. Doesn't matter. It could be a rich person, businessman, educator, engineer, doesn't matter. They must all feel, that's how I feel city becomes strong. People feel, take ownership. Good. Now, so what are the building blocks of a smart city? Building block means what has to happen step by step. First of all, not only, we talk about smart care, that is healthcare, of course, a big thing for all of us. Smart energy, we want dependable electricity at the lowest possible cost. Smart society, we must have in the city features. We do some recreation, we do some education. We do not only work like 9 to 6 or 9 to 5. We also enjoy life in the city. Smart office. We should be happy to be working in a building which is environmentally clean, well lit, comfortable, and encourages more productive work. Smart mobility. Cars, buses, trams, bikes, all of that have to be integrated so that one supports the other. And finally, smart space. Nice parks, open areas, so on and so forth. I'm sure Silchar campus has those examples that I'm talking about going forward. Now, so what, in my judgment, is a range of deployments in a smart city? What you should deploy? Well, of course, talk about clean, reduce traffic congestion to improve urban life. But what you should do as a building block, good energy management, disaster preparedness. Assam is not that vulnerable like Odisha or Bengal about cyclones, but we should be prepared for any kind of accidents, number one. Public safety, that's your police, ambulance, healthcare, so on. Parking spot assistance, it may not mean much to you in Silchar, but makes a lot of things when I go to Delhi, for example, or Mumbai, or Bangalore especially. It's a big issue of street parking. Then paying bills online is happening in India already. You should not have to stand in line to pay the electric bill, for example, online. And facilitate the movement of emergency vehicles. When an ambulance, fire engine comes out, they should go to the target destination the shortest possible time. Examples will be coming up in a few minutes. Look at this example. To me, these are elements of a smart city. On the lower right-hand side, the fire engine in New York City. When this fire engine leaves the fire station to attend to an accident or fire at a building somewhere in the city, it must have unimpeded access through the roads. No red lights go there, but it doesn't happen yet because lights are not well coordinated. I'll give you an example what can be done. One. Second is upper left-hand side. That's my building on the left where I work at Virginia Tech in Arlington. It's a 4-lane road, 2+2. We have to cross to go to lunch, literally. What we do, we have this, these are the lampposts on the left-hand side. The lamppost has an orange box, which has a switch. I press the switch, light turns green for me, I cross. Problem is the following. When I turn the switch to cross the road, the traffic going through has to stop, right? And that light stays on for 60 seconds. In 60 seconds, I've stopped more than 100 cars from moving through. They just stop because I am only person have to move. I'm not that important. So my proposal to the city has been, if only one person sends how many people waiting in that spot. If only one person is waiting, let him wait another 2 minutes. No rush. I'm going to lunch. Big deal. Then all the traffic can go through without being impeded. But how do you know how many people are waiting to cross the road? That's the smart city building block. We have a camera, not yet. We can have a camera there sensing the number of people based on the intensity. It lets that go. On the other hand, if one man is there, one person is there, we can wait forever. So you can put a timer. If one person is wait for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, let that light turn green for him or her, go through. As an example. Below, on the lower left, is a New York City. It's very interesting for a long time. If you drive in the city of New York, on the avenues, the main roads, you go through at a speed limit given like 50 kilometers or 45 kilometers per hour. If you're going at that speed, all the lights are either all red or all green for you, which is very good. If you start going, you don't stop, keep going. That's one way of smart city traffic design. Now, this is the example of how we are making the fire engines, fire trucks, fire brigade vehicles go unimpeded across the traffic lights. On the upper right-hand side is the ambulance or a fire engine, which is an emitter on the top. That emitter is picked up by a camera or a sensor. If you see the screen, right-hand side, the bottom part, you see the like a grayish bar, the 3 traffic lights, red, orange, and green. On the left-hand side is a sensor there that picks up the signal emitted by the ambulance coming from maybe 100 meters from the back. Now you see the screen on the left-hand side, so the bus or the emergency vehicle they emit their signal. The signal hits that sensor next to the light and turns the light green for it automatically. That's happening in my city right now. As a result, from 100 meters back, sensor comes in, light turns green, the traffic in front of the fire engine is clear, fire engine goes through without having to stop. That's an example of what we call optical-based traffic signal preemption system for emergency and transit vehicle. It can be used for buses as well. Buses have to go at a certain speed. Good. Now, I said before, connected transportation. This is Washington, D.C. You can get a car to go from there's a metro station to some building you want to visit. The building in front that you want to visit may be one-way road, you cannot get there. So what we do, we don't let all cars go through. You stop your car somewhere, park it. If you want to walk, fine. Or there are bike stations near this place you park your car, pick up a bike, it's all over the internet, open the key and you go, get done. That is what we mean by connected transportation. Example, again, different city, Vancouver, Canada. They have this metro in Vancouver, and the metro stop has bike stations. If you want to walk a mile, you can. If you don't want to, get on a bike and go. That way, you save time, you avoid having to have a car or a taxi going from the metro stop 1 mile away or half mile away to the building you want to visit. Example of connected transportation. This is a different example. This is how in the city of Stockholm, Sweden, they manage traffic to let the buses maintain schedule. What happens here, if you see the bottom part of the screen, the yellow box, system allows buses that are more than a minute behind schedule to automatically receive priority at traffic lights. What do you mean by this? This bus, you can tell, came from the right side, across the road. The bus was running 1 minute late. As the bus came to the traffic light in the intersection, it had red. But because it is running late, system knows that the red light turned green for the bus, it could turn left and go on. That way, it saved it a minute or so having to wait. This is how we talk about traffic management in a smart city, as an example. This is the how you find empty parking spots. This is, sorry, 1 second. This is in Atlanta, in the US. This is a traffic light, street light, LED light, no problem. That same light post has cameras mounted. That camera scans the space 62 degrees around the traffic light, the street light, and it senses empty spot. Then it will share that knowledge with an app. If you're driving, trying to find, looking for a space to park, you turn your app on, you see avenue number 9, street number 16 has an empty spot in that corner. Just go straight there. Without that, I've seen Bangalore, I go walking around or not, driving around to find a parking spot on the street. There's an example of smart parking space finder. This is an example, again, Baltimore, Maryland, USA, where we have a smart trash can. What is a smart trash can? You know, trash cans are filled with mainly paper cups, paper and all that, wrapping paper most of the time. And they have to be emptied maybe once or twice a day because they fill up pretty quickly. Not all of them fill up equally, but the people who are cleaning these trash cans don't know what is half full or is full. So they come to everyone. Some are half full, some are not full at all, some are full. They are wasting their time and their gasoline, energy, diesel to bring the truck to the location. What is happening here? This smart trash can has a sensor. It can tell how full it is, and based on that information over an app, it sends data to the city public works department, and they can decide whether or not to send a truck to pick up trash from that trash can. That saves time and energy, number one. Second example is in Stockholm, Sweden again. This has two features. One is it has a sensor to tell the public works department to come or not to come to pick up trash from this can. Also, it has a compactor. As you know, most of the trash cans have paper cup, and paper all that, most of the time. If you compact it, it can create more space. This is done compaction and sensing the level of how full it is and send a signal. As a result, before these trash cans have to be emptied 1 to 3 times a day because they had to come to do it anyway. Now they're coming 4 times a week. So 3 times a day to 4 times a week. So that not only the manpower, the truck that comes in, the diesel that it has to burn, the fume, the traffic congestions, all of these things built up. This is the example when I heard Dr. Shivaji Bandabadha, this example of what we can do is not very difficult to do. That's my point. Smart city is that small things you do to add value to the overall good life in the city. Now, that was smart one building at a time. Now we have built, you can do the same thing at your campus in Silchar as well. This example we do for, somebody mentioned the BM control companies, this company I started. But we have built some software platform using which you can study the building, electrical demand, occupancy, air conditioning load, all of that, and then decide which buildings to be controlled how much from a cloud-based platform so that you have a comfortable, efficient set of buildings and at the same time using less energy. If you want to know more, please look at this website later on, bmcontrols.com, get some ideas. What we have done here, as you can see on the screen, on the lower right-hand side, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, lighting load, plug load, sensors, water meters, rooftop solar, PV, storage, security camera. All of that can be done in one environment. That is, to me, a smart campus example. Okay. Another example in Japan, Yokohama is a city near Tokyo. They have, this is a practical example. They have in the city a lot of details here. Don't worry about it. Just highlights. It has electric vehicle charging. It has EV station, rooftop, solar for charging cars. It has, for example, SCADA system, building energy management system, commercial energy management system. All of that together forms a smart city. Again, it is never ending. What is a smart city? Example here, building energy management, electric vehicle, solar, commercial energy management, storage battery, SCADA systems, all of that are building blocks. As you want to build, you go step by step. Next one is India. I have been to India many times. I've been talks on smart city in India. I give a GAN course at Jamia Millia 2 years ago now, and got this information. So you see Assam, you see Guwahati, you see Imphal, you see Agartala, and many other cities in India. For example, Bhubaneswar, I've been there many times. So these are cities in India. There are 60 cities on this list, which have received support from the central government to build parts of a smart city. If you, Professor Shivaji Bandabadhyay, want to hold a workshop on your campus on smart city, we have a program from Power Society. We help cities all over the world to organize these workshops. The person doing this is from India, from Bangalore, Dr. Ramakrishna. If you are interested, send me an email. I'll introduce you to them or him, and he can organize a day-long workshop on your campus about smart city building blocks. You can see what can be done. I'm happy to do that. Okay, now this is my transition. We talked about smart cities so far, and how is a smart city changing because of our need for environment, sustainable development, less energy usage, all of that. So on the left-hand side is what is normal, what has been going on for many, many years today. We got large power stations. You have that in India, many of them. Heavy duty traffic congestions, and food transportation from the place where it is grown to place it is consumed. That's the normal. The new normal is, in addition to large coal-fired or nuclear power plants, we are putting solar. Very good example for you at NIT Silchar. You have now 1 megawatt solar, which the director said use electricity from sunshine to give you 30% of your demand. Very good. So that's an example. You're living that smart city already, which I'm happy to notice. Next is public transportation, electrified public transportation, which will avoid using cars to go from place A to place B. And this is Morocco, which is of course in Africa. And then below that is an example of what you call hydroponics. What is hydroponics? You grow vegetable, leafy vegetable, indoors with artificial lighting. You don't need any soil, you don't need any sunlight. This is an example in New York City where an abandoned godown warehouse is used to grow lettuce and other vegetables. So this is an example of what can be done. What is the value here? In the US, if you're in New York City, you buy lettuce. The lettuce comes from California, which is 5,000 kilometers away. It takes a week for the truck to cross that distance. So you're eating a lettuce in New York, fresh from the store. That is fresh to you, but it came from California. It was grown maybe 10 days back. If you can grow in abundant go down in New York City, like this case, lettuce, you grow next door. That's an example of new normal where we are using less energy, getting fresher food, and we are not creating congestions. That's my transition issue. Good. Now, smart city, smart village. IEEE has both programs. I started the smart city program at IEEE 6 years ago now, which is doing very well. If you want to join the smart city program, go to IEEE.org and type smart cities. You have a committee which you can participate in. Again, this Dr. Ramakrishna from Bangalore, also a member of the Smart Cities program. He can give you more information. On the right-hand side is our IEEE Smart Village program, which again, I started 10 years ago now, 2010, which is doing programs in India, Africa, and Latin America, and many other places. We can talk more about that as I go forward. Now, summarizing a smart city or a connected city, what are the essential elements you want to make sure visible to you? Of course, employment, healthcare, retail, which is shopping, entertainment, movie theaters, public service like medical care, homes, energy distribution, transportation. All of that happens, but we want to make sure they happen in an organized way so that you have all these elements helping each other out. Now, let's go from smart city to smart village. Again, Dr. Shivaji mentioned this. This is an example in Bangladesh. They call solar nanogrid because a few kilowatts, not a microgrid. What's happening, they have, in this case, they built a nanogrid in a village of 50 homes. These homes are connected over IT network, wireless of course, and many of the homes have rooftop solar. And a central solar plant, 5 kilowatt, and a central kind of power station, I call it powerhouse. If you look at my picture, lower left-hand side, powerhouse, it has battery for nighttime use. This is self-sufficient, independent nanogrid in a village, serving the local people, using electricity produced locally, and they're using the prepaid method like a cash transfer to pay the electric bill. So all going well in Bangladesh. This is an example of Africa. Smart village, where this is Nigeria, by the way. Because of the light they never had, the kids can study at night, the shop can have a light to sell more goods. So it illuminates kitchens, schools, clinics, and so on and so forth. As a result, these communities live cleaner, safer, and more prosperous lives. So it allows, as a result, build local commerce. You give employment opportunity that never existed before because you provide electricity in the village. Good. This is another example in India, in fact, Ladakh area, where we are providing electricity to these small girls and boys. Before, they had only kerosene lamp. Now they have not only a lamp, they have computers to do this. This is what is amazing that can be done and changes life for these young girls. So we call it innovative global classroom. So that I'm sure in Assam, you can do similar things. I was in Guwahati, Assam more than 10 years ago, went to a place where they had satellite-based internet communication. Now it is because of GPS cell phone. It's not a big deal anymore. This is, again, Ladakh. We IEEE, had a program to electrify a monastery in Ladakh 3 years ago now. So you see this example here? This is how it looks today. This monastery in Ladakh was built in 1440, 1440. Today is 2020. So almost 600 years later, they got electricity. That means all those 600 years, they had a kerosene lamp. Now go there, this monastery, and on the hilltop, all lit up, LED light, because we provided solar panels for that. These people went up and took it over there and make it look like this. The point is, it is possible. You must have the will, resources, and manpower to get it happen. And I think India has all of those. That is an example here we are showing you. Again, in India here, it's in Bengal, West Bengal someplace. Because of light, these girls can work at night in the evening and do more work, embroidery, not just more work, better quality work. Because they can see what they're doing in this embroidery work. This is a big difference. This boy on the upper right-hand side studying at night at his village home. This is in Bangladesh. I did some work in Bangladesh on rooftop solar some years ago. We provided solar power to village level community centers. Now, because of light, electricity, they can watch TV. They like to watch World Cup soccer when they have a chance, and fan, light, all of that is possible. Changes people's life. Not very expensive, but you must have the will to do this. This is some example in Bangladesh as well. Bangladesh, you may know, has done very well in village-based rooftop solar, house by house, not interconnected, house by house. So this is an example of somebody bringing a solar panel in a rickshaw to the village, and then these girls and boys see it and they hook it up like here. Look at the picture on the right-hand side, upper right. This girl, she is a solar technician in Bangladesh. She has been trained to hook up solar panels, and down below is that room below her where they can turn lights on and do the work. The point is, I believe this. The people could be poor, could be uneducated, they are smart, intelligent. That is not poverty or money issue. So if you can put that intelligence to good use, they can do amazing things. This girl may be 15 years old. She can do this. So nobody thought she could do it. And she has become a role model to younger girls. They can figure out whether if they given the opportunity, can do the same thing. This is how you empower people, not just money, but in their enthusiasm. I can do it. This is what I want to see done globally if I have a chance to speak to you and many other people as IEEE president down the road. So this is the grassroots level, which I believe in this. So that also helps to create local jobs in the village, because now this girl and her family is doing stuff which was never possible going forward. So this man, again in Bangladesh, he said because of this light, this small CFL light in his shop, he sells cigarettes, of course, cookies, biscuits, and water, many other things. He's saying because of the light I have, people who are buying stuff can see what I have in stock. They can point out, okay, I want to buy this water, this biscuit, this whatever. And the other thing is, these village people can come to his shop now to charge their mobile phones. This is important. You have a phone, everybody has a phone. Why do you charge it? Come to the shop, get it done. As a result, this man says his sales have gone up by 50% just because of this one light and a plug to charge mobile phones. Good. Another example in Bangladesh. Again, this can be done anywhere. Assam also. This is a village library in a boat, because these kids cannot go to a library, and library comes to them once a week. This boat has a rooftop solar panel, obviously 50 or 60 watt, this one. There is enough to light up few LED bulbs inside the boat. So when the kids come to this boat, they go inside, they see light and see all the books they want to borrow. They can pick up the book they want. Then the boat comes back next week. they changed the book again. This example of how small things can make a big difference in the population and their expectations. Next is impact of solar PV in rural communities. I showed you the library, this girl doing solar rooftops. It helps in education, healthcare, retail business, and of course, providing electricity. In those homes in Bangladesh, 75 watt, 60 watt panel, they can do 3 or 4 LED lights. They can run even a small black and white television and a radio, and most importantly, charge their mobile phone. That's what we have. This helps to build a community that people can depend on each other, they can help each other, and they can all progress at the same time. So this is the definition issue. Again, remember Professor Shivaji Bandyopadhyay's example. What I've done, I had a definition for a smart city. All I have done, I replaced the word city by village. That's it, nothing else. Everything else stays the same. So connected village now, not a city. A connected village is one where all relevant village systems, utilities like the light, electricity, transportation, employment, healthcare, public safety, education, can talk to each other, interact with them. That is synergy we build. Synergy means you bring people together, bring things together, and they do more than individual pieces. So 1 + 1 is more than 2. That's the synergy you're talking about. And that is what we are focusing on. So this is my technical talk. The time is almost up. Again, we are IEEE focused issue. I want to make some comments about IEEE. As you know, I am in the US here in Assam or all over India. We are not close to each other physically now. However, because of COVID, we've learned to be close to each other over the internet, like this Google meeting we're having now. I am very sure this is helping us to build stronger communities, more collaboration and cooperation. I hope once the COVID-19 is over, hopefully soon, we will not forget this. We'll keep on using this technology we have learned to make things better, faster, and more impactful for all of us. But for that to happen, IEEE must change. IEEE must recognize there is a girl in Bangladesh or a young boy in Silchar who is equally smart than a kid in Washington, D.C., and they can do the same thing. This is what my message is going forward. For that to be possible, all the volunteers from Silchar to Saigon to Shanghai to Singapore should feel they are equally important in the IEEE operations. With that, I hope. Other thing I want to point out to you, I see some of you on the your faculty are IEEE senior members, but India's numbers are very small, senior member, very small compared to US or Canada, let's say. Why is that? I've been asked that question many times. People say, well, I go to an industry in Mumbai, say some young engineers, and I ask a young lady why you are not a member. She qualifies. 2 problems. So one problem is, I don't know how to do this because it's an online issue. Second bigger problem is, to be a senior member, a member must have 3 references who are senior members themselves or fellows to write letters for them. That is hard to find always. I've told my PS chapter colleagues, all PS chapters, please publish on your website the names of all IEEE senior members and fellows, which is public information anyway, nothing privacy issue. Publish it. Then it is visible to the members of the chapter or the section. This young lady, she is an engineer, she can go to the website, see the names of current senior members. She maybe know somebody themselves, or she can tell her boss to find somebody, maybe the boss has some friends. That way, that barrier of not finding other members to write letters for you is gone. That's how you feel empowered and you feel that we care. I hope we can do that, especially regions 8, 9, 10. India is Asia Pacific region 10. So that's it. Again, elections are going on. Please vote. Please vote. This is the voting site, IEEE.org/elections. If you want to know more about myself, again, my website is here. I am on also Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. So with that, I'm going to stop here, and I'll give back to Srijit to pick up and and ask questions. Thank you very much.
Dr. Sujit, any question? No question. No question. Thank you so much, sir. Your discussion has been very informative, and I hope our participants will be benefited from a discussion, not only in terms of research but also for research collaboration. So we could see no questions. Now is the time for to convey the vote of thanks. So, respected Director NIT Silchar Professor Shivaji Bandyopadhyay, respected Professor Saifur Rahman, IEEE President-elect candidate 2020, Joseph Lorig Professor, Director Virginia Tech Advanced Research Institute, USA, our senior professor, Professor Ansin, Professor P.K. Roy, our HOD, Professor J.P. Mishra, my dear faculty colleagues, and dear participants. It's a proud privilege for me to convey vote of thanks. So, first of all, I convey my heartfelt thanks on behalf of the committee as well as on my personal behalf to Professor Rahman for taking all the pains for sharing his knowledge on the smart city building blocks and their synergy with smart villages. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation. We are expecting your gracious presence at NIT Silchar in near future. I thank Professor Shivaji Bandyopadhyay for encouraging us and giving us necessary approval for this kind of program. I thank our coordinator faculty, Dr. S. Poti, President IIC, Professor F. Talukdar, faculty advisor, IEEE PS Student Chapter, Dr. Rajiv De, for logistics support. I convey my sincere thanks to J.P. Mishra, sir, head of the department, electrical engineering department, for providing all necessary support. I also thank Professor Vikas Pansar for introducing NIT Silchar to Professor Rahman. Attending this program, and I request all of you to vote in favor of Professor Rahman, sir, IEEE President-elect candidate 2020 to have better and broader IEEE. Thank you all. Good evening and good morning, one and all in USA. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for the nice organization. Enjoyed it. Hope you have a rest of the good week. And again, I said, you have my contact information. Please let me know if you have any questions, and hopefully I'll be able to visit your campus sometime next year and see the solar project. Thank you very much.
Oh. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So we shall conclude here. Thank you all.
So you can stop, sir. It's done. You can stop. It is done.